God damn, I love that song from Star Fox. Unfortunately, sadly, I wasn't able to reach Venom 2 personally because of that damn Metal Crusher. Still, it's a very good song for the dogfight and what's ahead. Anyways, welcome back to the three-parter story arc of F-Zero ending it all. Destination Dark Star. Last time, Tinsel Steelus was captured by Deathborn, and after the fight with Jody, a very deadly one at that, she finally regained her senses thanks to Bert and Clank, whom she realized was actually her long-lost brother, Andy Summer. After all those years, he was finally alive, and thus it restored Jody. And so, she summoned the Galaxy Runner along with the Falcon Flyer and the Duelists, along with the Task Force and Tinsel's allies, and together, they're on their way to Dark Star. Alright, let's get this started. Alright, Lap 18, Destination Dark Star, Part 1. Rick couldn't get Tinsel out of his mind. He was so deep in his anxieties that he didn't care what else would happen. All he ever wanted was her, other than saving the galaxy and the remaining tainted member of the mobile task force, Dr. Stewart. He had a flashback to the other day when Tinsel was suddenly abducted by Black Shadow. She was about to emerge from the opaque cockpit into the light that was him. Rick! Tinsel! Rick Wheeler, we meet again. Actually, I don't need to reenact this. You already know from the last chapter. So, here's the flashback. Anyway, he was inside the Falcon Flyer, and the crew consisted of Rodney, Leon, Beastman, Gomar, and Shio, Drac, Octoman, Yugi, and Captain Falcon. The Galaxy Runner had all members of the task force, including Bert, Clank, Gazelle, and Joey. The young duelist handed him a cup of sweet coffee along with a saucer. Here, Rick. It's gonna be a long ride, so you have to stay sharp. I think this might help you out. Thank you. He accepted and took it in a few sips. It was actually a fresher broth than the one at the Falcon House. The hot sensation was welcoming for him. Yugi kept encouraging him that he can help him bring Tinsel back and defeat Black Shadow, who happened to be Deathborn in Falcon's eyes. The duelists never doubted him for a second. They may not know them very well since they happen to be F-Zero pilots rather than duelists from the Shadow Realm. Nevertheless, he's positive that they'll somehow find a way to save her in the universe. He may not have a single move on him, not even during the championship. However, he was positive that with their monsters and magic, they can prevail and conquer their fears of the unknown. Still, it would be an exhilarating experience since they never dealt with threats outside of Earth. This made Rick wonder what the demons said. You alone can determine the galaxy and your friends, yet still you've the key to prevent this calamity. Black Shadow said I'm the one who will turn the tides. He demanded for the reactor mites, but what does that have to do with me? It was unseen through the visor, but the bounty hunter shifted his eyes toward the conversation. There's something that only he knew, and he never bothered to tell anyone. Yugi had his doubts. I'm not sure either, Rick, but Yami and I both know that you and Falcon can overcome this. He beat both Black Shadow and Deathborn before, even the Creator Ghosts, and I'm sure he can do it again with you by his side. He and I have something in common. We are champions in each of the tournaments we participated in. I'm just as confident that you two can also make a difference. You just need to believe in him and yourself. Nothing can stop you. With a grin, the detective thanked him once more. Then an alarm blared, as did the Galaxy Runner. The lights turned red, and all the heroes were completely shocked at what they saw. As soon as both Jody and Falcon silenced their ships, they gazed upon a very ominous cloud of sorts. The exterior was extraordinary, as the vessel itself was entirely covered with layers upon layers of energy. It was organic in appearance, looking like a spherical storm cloud. We've reached our destination. Prepare yourselves. Right, Falcon. We all know Black Shadow doesn't fool around. We need everything we have to penetrate through this. Use extreme caution. Sacred puzzle shined and it was Yugi's cue to stand and fight. I guess now's the time. Everyone, stand back. The relic illuminated and moved slowly. Then his body was engulfed in light. Yu-Gi-Oh! He transformed into the legendary 5,000-year-old pharaoh Yami. When the aura dissipated and the symbol on his forehead faded, he looked nearly exactly like the kid, except he was a few feet taller and had a more earnest expression. How did you... I am the ancient Egyptian pharaoh, Yami. You have no need to fear me. This is only temporary. My soul lies dormant inside the Millennium Puzzle. I'm an expert player of the Shadow Games and a master of the dual monsters. We shouldn't be intimidated by the darkness ahead. I will give Black Shadow everything I got. It's kind of obvious since he had stronger monsters and trap magic cards. So what's our plan of attack, Yug? We will use all non-organic monsters. We are in space, Joey, so there is no gravity nor atmosphere. We just have to rely on our more magical and mechanical abilities instead. Looking at the unusual mass and sensing great evil, he challenged. I know you're in there somewhere, Black Shadow. It's quite predictable since he'd use fear and bile to hide himself with. But no matter. Light can pierce through the darkness. I now activate the Swords of Revealing Light! They acted as a barrier and a revelation to the whereabouts of the Emperor of Brutality. There, dead ahead! Yami drew a card that had a series of blades made by pure energy. They covered the Falcon Flyer. It won't be easy. The ship can move rapidly from within, and he can attack from anywhere. Then we'll just have to fight back head on. I'm on it. Wait! Black Shadow knows we're coming. We have to increase our defenses. You got it, Yug. That's using the old noodle. He used the Aurora armor while the Swords of Revealing Light held. Pink suit came in front of the Galaxy Runner. There were some rapid blue flashes coming from the outer hull. Blackness looked as it was lighting up like the 4th of July. Then a gigantic field of bright blue plasma headed straight for them. Missiles shot out from the Galaxy Runner, but the plasma negated it. That's impossible! Brace yourselves! It was so huge that it went up against both of the radiant swords and Joey's shield until they wore off entirely. The force field went with them. They're gone! Bullets ran down on the both cruisers, ricocheting from the windows. It's gonna take more than that to stop us. I will summon all my magnetic warriors, Beta, Alpha, and Gamma in attack mode. Yami did just that. The trio, possessing those powerful magnets, emerged with Gamma in the center, spread out, and the bullets were gathered using their gravitational pulls. The onslaught only left a few scratches on both sides. They fired back, and the ship was nearly unscathed. Unfortunately, the cloud structure was too much for them since Earth was ineffective against dark elements. They were vulnerable to negative aura, leaving the gang open. This is almost like the Dark Castle of Illusions. Plasma Cannon destroyed 2 magnet warriors and left Gamma weak. Ah, you wanna play rough? I'll show you! Joey laid a card face down. Yugi summoned Curse of Dragon and equipped it with Excalibur to double its attack. On top of that, it was a dark type. Black Shadow unleashed his furious streams of electricity hit the serpent. Activate Track Card! It revealed the magical arm shield. Gamma dissipated on contact, leaving the dragon vulnerable. But Joey, there aren't any monsters for you to control on the other side. I know, but I could still use it to defend you. At least you can attack with your monster. I'll join too. Jody loaded a barrage of missiles and aimed toward the core. Darkstar was distant, but they made a decent reach. Yami used his monster's fireball along with it. Nice shooting, Joey! Don't get your hopes up. We may have penetrated its defenses, but I'm sure Black Shadow has some tricks up his sleeve. Urgh, I can't hold the light show much longer. Damn it! It looks like he's turning up the heat, but so am I. I sacrificed my curse of dragon by sending a level 5 monster to the graveyard. I now draw on one of my greatest weapons. I'll fight intergalactic fire with fire. Behold, the 5-star Twilight! The explosive family came out. There was Karibu, Kariba, Kariba, Karibi, and Karibo. They soared toward Darkstar and their corresponding stars at such a velocity. Yet again they destroy the exterior, along with the flyer and the runner to grow closer. All right, we're on our way, Tinsel. Uh-oh. With that dual monster, Yugi can't tribute summon any more monsters. So now what? Like all the other racers, even she was confused on what was going on. This was a tough spot, even for Yami. Then he saw something in his peripheral vision. Hey guys, come here, look at this! The heroes rushed over, and the young tech geek pointed down. They followed their partner's gazes and saw a planet get surrounded by dark violet orbs. They shot out from the dark star's underside and they started orbiting the world below. It began to implode on itself. Every onlooker was petrified. According to the data Clank said, they lost planet Uma 31, plus 2 others have already disintegrated. Now we know what we're up against. They all looked at Yami. He encouraged them not to focus on their mission, but rather follow their hearts and the people they deeply care for. For him, it was his friends and grandfather back on Earth. Deathborn tends to taint the body and mind like he did with those in the task force, but he can't possibly corrupt the heart and soul. And that's what truly matters. The true essence of a champion cannot be tamed. I learned that from you, Falcon. Then we've no time to waste. Let's bring the fight to them. Shield was activated once Rick, Falcon, and the others entered, denying access for the Galaxy Runner. What just happened? It seems that a force field blocked our path. It's up to Rick and Falcon now. It's obvious since Black Shadow only wants them for the reactor mites. Oh, I hope they'll be okay. Don't worry, Lucy. I'm positive Rick and the others will make it out soon. Godspeed, Ricky. Don't let us down, you hear? It's all yours, Yug. In the dim-lit chamber, everyone exited the Falcon flyer. They were so anxious on putting an end to Black Shadow, especially Rick, Falcon, and Yami. We're here. I don't like the smell of this. This place is completely shrouded in malevolence. We have to stick together and stay focused. Yami's right. The universe is in our hands, as are Tinsel and Dr. Stewart. Let's go. Tinsel, I will find you. I promise. Please wait for us. They wound up in a large elliptical area. They were smack dab in the middle. There was a dark fog surrounding them. A violet fog. It became thicker and more massive as it lingered amongst the ominous olive-green walls. As it stayed, everyone exposed to the shady substance as thick as pea soup made them feel a bit lightheaded. They continued to look for their missing comrades. The more effective they became, all except for Falcon and the Pharaoh. Millennium Puzzle and the Merged Championship belt were the only things that saved them. Each pilot was dropping like rabbits. First was Leon. He was more susceptible thanks to his strong nose. Then Chris, Gomor and Shio, Drac, with a huge thud, and finally Rick. Yami and Falcon couldn't awaken them. Falcon only said if he could conquer their nightmares, they can still live on. The ancient king was curious as to how he knew all that. Falcon knew him as the Skull, the undead user of the most lethal black magic from all the vast reaches of space. Occasionally he dealt with him during his bounty hunting missions, and in this case there was nothing they could do. Although there was just one thing. Helpless and trapped in their own subconscious, They didn't notice the appearance of the apparition that was Black Shadow. So, you two were the lucky ones that withstood my peer's greatest spell yet. Black Shadow! Why couldn't you just kill them when you had the chance? Oh, that's where you're wrong, Falcon. You see, I intend to kill each of your friends except for Rick. I have a surprise waiting for him. The skull had the foolproof plan on manipulating their minds and torturing their souls while they remain trapped within their own fears for all eternity. There is no better way than that. So, you rely on your sideshow freak instead of facing each of us head on? You're nothing but a coward. And here I thought you were almighty and powerful. But you just do nothing but fall into the shadows, just like what Panic used to do. Ah, the nefarious Pharaoh Yami. How wonderful to meet you again. Here to stand by the irritating bird, I see. The two of us, Black Shadow. Just make your move. Very well. I can only do so much to penetrate it. It was earthbound for 5,000 years. Take this! Two blinding energy ropes enwrapped the duo. Yami dropped his card even though it was face down. They were lifted into the air about 20 feet. In a desperate attempt, Yami squeezed down his eyes and the symbol of Watch It appeared on his forehead. Time to call on a spellcaster of my very own, Dark Magician! He opened his eyes. The dual monster communicated telepathically. Fuchsia-colored magic wielder emerged from its imprisonment and unleashed his wand, freeing both Yami and Falcon. Even the darkest clouds can shatter in the wind. How did you do it, Yami? With the help of the Millennium Puzzle, I was able to communicate with my Dark Magician. I could read the dual monsters and my opponent's thoughts and feelings, as well as manipulate them. But that's only when the relic is being unharmed and at its peak. It's all about unity, because the pieces are one. This reminded Falcon of the belt, and he realized that darkness wasn't only used for evil purposes. Unfortunately, they lost sight of Black Shadow. Even with the fog gone, the enemy vanished with it. There wasn't any time, so both heroes had no choice but to stand by. Rick heard an alarm, only it really wasn't what he thought it would be. Attention all units! There is a suspect escaping in a brown sedan, heading for the Brooklyn Bridge. Is that? He kept hearing the cackling again. Soda? He can't be alive! I can't believe this! He slammed down on the gas pedal and noticed he was in the same cruiser from 150 years, the Dragon Ghost, Clank called it. Oh, the diabolical maniac. You're next, Wheeler! Ha ha ha! It's about time I'd reunite you with Haruka forever! Oh yeah? I destroyed you once, I can do it again! He continued toward the last stretch as the wheel screeched into a sharp corner. Soda fired numerous bullets to the door of the driver's seat and kicked it into the air. The slab was heading toward Rick. No! He immediately slammed on the brakes and covered himself as he ducked and put his denim jacket over his head. The broken door hit the windshield just seconds later. Debris landed on him. He felt some sharp pangs. After a few agonizing seconds that stretched onward to an eternity, he finally removed his coat, away from his sore scalp. What he saw surprised him, as the sedan and Zoda were nowhere in sight. It was as if they'd vanished, like some simple magic trick. He sat there in the empty passageway. I may have lost the perp, but I hadn't lost my life this time. I'd already beaten you in your own game, Soda. I fear it no more. Do you hear me, Black Shadow? My nightmare is over. Yes, your dream is over. Now your worst possible nightmare is about to begin. Figure looked so familiar with its intimidating presence of all that elaborate armor, its astounding size and massive cape. Rick! Are you alright? I think so. I was chasing after Zoda before he was just a regular criminal wearing a prison garb. He didn't look like what he was before Tinsel and I froze him. Tinsel! Wait, Rick. Your friends are still trapped in the dreamscape. I'm sorry. I don't have time to dilly-dally. Tinsel needs me. I must stop Black Shadow and Deathborn. He admired his strong resolve, so they let him pass. Falcon and Yami resumed watching over them. Next was Beastman. He was in an opaque master bedroom. He was unarmed. He possessed only a flashlight in the dead of night. The room was quiet. He heard scratches and hissing from the doors. Huh? Who's there? He knew that only the natural wild beast would make such noises. Let's see. Just read it yourself. I don't feel like doing this. He didn't have a weapon, so he only made out a scene. There was a grump and a snap. That alone brought him back to his early childhood. Only a gator would make that noise. When he was traumatized by their sneering maws, their bleeding gums, their pointed razor-sharp teeth, and their scaly hides as durable as tanks. Chris remembered being attacked by one, and his family were traveling through the Everglades. They were unexpectedly swarmed. Chris managed to stay alive, though the deep emotional and physical scars were laid upon him. Never wanted to take anyone about that unfortunate experience, nor the abrasions. Became very skilled at hiding them, and vowed to be the galaxy's best hunter. Even still, his worst fear lied in the heart of his herpetophobia. Checked every nook and cranny. He fought off the gator. Like I said, it's kind of long. Just read it yourself. I don't feel like reading this. So, you can pause that if you want. I don't know if it's incredibly accurate, but I managed to look it up. It wasn't over yet. The gator snarled and its eyes gleamed with a red malice. Chris slowly backed away while still facing it. Reptilian still, he grew closer to its midnight snack. He turned and ran in a straight line while it gave chase. Fortunately, the animatronic lost its energy and panted profusely before retreating beneath the bed. That was more than enough for the beast-man to bear. Next was Drac. He was in the hangar with his partner Roger. They were soaring through sunny clouds and were happy as pigs in feces. They finally found ownership of the missing machines. But then, something went wrong as the blip was shutting down and taking a nosedive. Magenta Giant used his massive body as a cushion, protecting Roger from collision. The strong man was knocked out cold from it, though Drac was unscathed. He managed to stand up using his cramped legs, and everywhere he turned flames were licking the aircraft. Drac had to make its choice. Lose Roger or their business. He already had the answer as he took his partner out. The Emperor of Brutality came across two unsuspecting aliens within his interplanetary hideout. Zoda's killer brought in two inhabitants from the planet Huckmine. They stood side by side, and of course, it was Gomar and Shio. Oh, Black Shadow! We came here to assist you. We wanted to be a part of Dark Million for so long. Can you please recruit us? We've been such huge fans of yours. We can work together with the organization and do some evil deeds. This could be fun, right, partner? You bet, partner. Shook hands with one another. Zoda's killer gave them some irritable looks. What can you Furicakes do for me? By winning F-Zero races, of course. Yeah, we heard the Mobile Task Force is very hard to boot, So we were thinking you could use our talent of teamwork to defeat them and win prize money from them. He thought about it for a moment. Only the fewer cakes were known to have a unique lifestyle of finding partners as soon as they emerged from their seed pods. They were very cooperative to one another. However, from the looks of it, they seemed so different. Very well. I would take the small fry since you have quite a brain. You, on the other hand, are as dumb as dog shit. Please, Lord Shadow, I would do anything. I promise I'll do better. Just give me a chance. Please don't send my partner away. We are Sankey and I. We do stuff together. Please don't take him without me. He was perplexed. On the other hand, he's far too short to be of any use. He shoved him toward his friend, causing them to topple each other. You two are weak and complete opposites. How do you expect to be the galaxy's most threatening villains? You two are nothing but made from manure. The Huck miners couldn't fathom what they just heard. Their dream was to buy a machine of their very own and steal money to get one. Since they thought Black Shadow was so thrilling to them, they decided to work together at being his top minions. Figured they'd be unstoppable working with him. However, Black Shadow, their so-called hero, rejected them like broken dolls. You know what? Tinsel's right about you. She'd never discard us like that. She knows who we are and what we're capable of. We are the Furicates. Yeah! Tinsel and her friends think we're more than just pieces of manure. We always thought you were the big bad, but now we see you as a bully. How dare you! Soda, Miss Killer, take them away. No need, Lord Shadow. We can throw ourselves out. We don't need you guys. Black Shadow commanded Death Soldiers. They drew their guns. Shio carried Gomar out as fast as they could. Bullets licked them, but they escaped. Ooh, that was close. We must leave here and quickly. We must now be gone. She was right all along, partner. Indeed she was. They were firebombed by Black Shadow's craft. Fortunately, it was outnumbered by the Galaxy Runner and the Falcon Flyer. Hey, our friends are here. I sure hope they'd forgive us for what we did. They will, since we validated that we can work alongside us and help people out while doing it. Our real dream is just to win F-Zero racers while sticking together. I'm in, partner. Because of the comfort of their allies, they didn't seem nervous. Not even about their criminal record. They had friends earning their redemption just like Octoman, most of the members of the task force itself. There's no better place than that. And there's Leon, a desolate racetrack in silence. Miles of sand, as well as distant dormant volcanoes. It was night. The ground itself looked like a dark purple just nearing matching the sky. There was a full moon completely littered with craters, visible to the naked eye. He ended up in Silence, a planet that had its name since there wasn't any organisms existing on this deserted plain. Thus it was only known for its races, which ironically made it contradict its namesake. I always liked Silence, but mostly the original course. He was just 12 with the interplanetary war, and by 16, participated in F-Zero, and he had to tackle that Ace League course. And as I've said before, the special game F-Zero BS Grand Prix 2 actually had an advanced version of Silence, Silence 2. I highly recommend checking it out in Ephraim's LP. So he was just dealing with modifying machines that were mechanically operated by remote controls. Kind of like a mix between the orange and the explosive cars. I decided to put them together. Like I said, you can read it yourself. I don't feel like doing it that much. It's taking the lead until the booster was activated. There was something very peculiar, as they had no pilots. And sooner or later, he actually came across a doppelganger as him. Lunar eclipse made the earth glow a bit red, almost like lava. And so did that evil wolf. What? What are you doing with all these cars? He was terrified when he got his answer after they were speeding ahead and had sensors blinking at the side. His best bet was to be careful and to avoid crashing into them. By the time he passed a few, they were closing in on him as if they had no regard to their welfare. Just pure destruction. It caused hefty damage to his machine. They were twice as powerful as the mines. What was worse was Leon accelerating, barely falling off the course with their lack of guardrails. Regardless, his only adversary was the evil angler. He had to beat it to the goal. Leon had outsmarted it, and he eventually took him first, and then destroyed cells as they collide toward each other along the walls. Eventually, it was down to both him and his rival. So the Darren machines accelerated too much and left up the course. Copy had an improvement in sideswiping, so it hit the original when they got to the broad road ahead. Gave Leon the advantage as it got a slight nod. She recovered, and shot past the canny clone, reached the finish line first as he wasn't fast enough. Whoosh! Leon won. Yeah! I finally won the race! Although he didn't get what was expected. By the time he woke up, the team reunited, and they were met with Yami and Falcon. Former said they have all risen and broken a black magic spell over them. As he said before, it was possible that they could achieve anything as long as the heart and souls were pure, even if their minds were crumbling down from the masterful manipulation of sorcery from the skull. Black Shadow wasn't behind all this? That made the other victims cringe. They all looked up after a mysterious voice screeched from the upper balcony. The skull? Sterling Levon! His head and his limbs were seen as the slightest shade of pale. There was the skull. Impossible! How could you mortals withstand my most fearsome techniques? Who are you? I had you in my deadly clutches. Think again, numbskull. Yami told Sterling that Drax survived because he saved himself and his partner from complete destruction over their delivery. Rick overcame his dread reliving the past. Chris dealt with his childhood fear over an alligator. Leon won a death race, and Gomar and Shio realized that working for the villain wasn't smart, though they came to the epiphany that their parents had their backs. Yami made one last stand. Their minds and hearts remained one and pure while they overcame their fears, and made them stronger than they ever were before. But you have no heart, Sterling. You hadn't had one in over 2 centuries. You may have bested in the F-Max competition, but not in F-Zero, nor in science and dark magic. Your plans had constantly failed on more than one occasion, as you only relied on strategy and intellect alone, without any passion or affection, just as any soulless creature would. Friendship and ambition are what drives me. Allow me to show you one of my shadowy arts. As the Dark Ancient Protector of Egypt and the Master of the Shadow Games, I now send you into oblivion! He stuck out his head and vanished the skeletal carcass, shattering his long-gone spirit, and his body collapsed in a heap. It was almost the same way he used his punishment on Panic. That was amazing. I wouldn't want to get on your bad side. Don't be alarmed, Leon. I only do this to protect the ones I care about, as should you. Puzzle illuminated, and a wall of darkness hammered into the Pharaoh. Falcon gave him a hand as he dived in, pushing it back with all their strength. hoping their bodies wouldn't shatter. Yami and Falcon order the pilots to evacuate and search for Rick, Tinsel, and Dr. Stewart while they deal with their nemesis back with a vengeance. Whew. Man, that was long. Dark Reactor idea and the Dark Star's defenses were, believe it or not, from the original Star Trek movie, not the remake, the motion picture. I find that very underrated. I don't care what anyone else says. I love that movie, especially the director's cut, because it has more footage. So Dark Star was pretty much inspired by or Voyager, actually, as the intruder cloud, including its weaponry and its appearance. Also, there was a spectacle when Uma 31 blew up. It was kind of pointless because Zoda had a different origin, but yeah, that was from Feature 2. Very terrifying, but I wish they weren't used just for show. Sensors. So, dream sequences were the most difficult I had to come up with. Again, it was thanks to my collaborators, especially Revived Racer. I added more details as I went, especially the Ace League. Wasn't going to miss out on silence. Herpetophobia is classified as fear of snakes and or reptiles. In Chris's case, though, he fears alligators and crocodiles. The setup was an inspiration from Five Nights at Freddy's 4. I got that idea from Fawful's Minion when he described his top 10 spookiest levels. I don't know, perhaps I'll show that in the link, I don't know. So, part 2 will be coming up. Until then, this is the Ekron Writer signing out.